Hello, thank you very much for watching. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. Please do hit subscribe. And if I haven't earned your subscription already, hopefully this will be the one, because I'm going to be building up to the Six Nations 2023 and Steve Borthwick's first squad as England head coach, which is on Monday, only a couple of days away. And on this video, I want to look at centres, the much talked about centre position. So let's get into the contenders. As always, please love reading the comments and your thoughts, whether it's just having a pop or a debate with what I have to say, giving your own perspective, or trying to predict what Steve Borthwick will do. And I'm going to try and do that as well as give you my own thoughts. So when you look at the centres that England have, I've picked 16 potential candidates. Now, I just want to put the caveat in there at the start. I will have forgotten someone, maybe several people. For example, on the front row, I've got an apology to make to Nick Shonnett, who I completely forgot. And he could be a contender for the England squad. So, yeah, if I've missed someone, let me know who, and I apologise to that individual. But let's take a look at inside centre first. And I think this highlights, if you see in the bottom left there, Owen Farrell. I think I can highlight why he's been playing so much at 12. I mean, he is an exceptional player that Warren Gatland, Stuart Lancaster, Eddie Jones, many coaches have put in that 12 position because he is versatile. And in the case of England, because there aren't that many contenders. And let me explain what I mean, because yes, all these players have played with a 12 on their back. Dan Kelly, Fraser Dingwall, Lennox Anyanwu, Guy Porter, Ollie Devoto, Piers O'Connor, Owen Farrell, Ollie Lawrence, Mark Atkinson, Manu Tuolangi. They've all played with a 12 on their back. But if you want to look at who is an actual inside centre, like that is their first choice position. That is where they operate best. Those are the only English ones, really, that are contenders for an England jersey. And two of those, Ollie Devoto and Mark Atkinson, who've both worn the England 12 jersey before, they're both injured. So really there's only four. And these are all very young guys, which is why Owen Farrell has been wearing that 12 shirt for so long. When you look at this, Lennox Anyanwu, really promising guy. He's behind Andre Esterhazen at Harlequins. But I would say he and Piers O'Connor, not quite at the level, in my humble opinion. Very good players. But Dan Kelly and Fraser Dingwall are the two natural inside centres who I think Steve Borthwick will be considering for his England squad. Let's go back to the 16 that could make up the members of the squad. And let's look at outside centres. And there's quite a lot more of those. And we've got Sam James, Guy Porter, Piers O'Connor, Alex Lazowski. Piers O'Connor very much a 12/13. Alex Lazowski, Joe Marchant, Henry Slade, Will Joseph, Jonathan Joseph, Ollie Lawrence, Manu Tuolangi. Of those, if I had to make a call straight off, I've just come straight from working at the Sale Toulouse game. I really like Sam James. I've got a lot of time for Piers O'Connor and both of the Joseph brothers, but they would go just based on those players that are left. Really like Alex Lazowski, very versatile player. Could be an auxiliary 10 if you needed it, or even a fullback. And Manu Tuolangi, we know what he can do. Has he been doing it? Maybe not quite at the desired level. So I would say that these are the best four contenders at centre. Guy Porter, Joe Marchant, Henry Slade, and Ollie Lawrence. I think the fact that Joe Marchant is going to Stade Francais next year because Eddie Jones didn't pick him is one of the things that annoys me most about the Eddie Jones reign, that we've let this guy go, because I just think he's absolute class. So when you add the two inside centres, I think those are your six players that Steve Borthwick will have front and centre of his mind for the centre position. That's what I think. What do you reckon? Leave your comments. However, six players are not going to be in Steve Borthwick's England squad. He may have five, potentially, particularly as with someone like Joe Marchant, he can play on the wing. His versatility might mean there's five centres, but probably more likely there's going to be four. So if I was going to lose one, I'd lose Fraser Dingwall, and there would be probably my England squad members for Steve Borthwick's squad that he'll announce on Monday. If I were making the call, that'll be mine. I don't think his will be too far away from that. As for a starting team to face Scotland on February the 4th, I mean, take your pick. We're going to be facing up against Chris Harris, maybe Cam Redpath, any number of players which could have been England internationals. And the same is true Nick Tompkins for Wales and stuff. We've had players that can play inside centre. I think I would hand the reins to Dan Kelly. I really, really like him. And Henry Slade is an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. Left foot kicker, an extra distributor, and he's got a lot better as a ball carrier, and he's tough. Defensively, I think he's improved a lot in the last couple of years. So I don't have concerns about not having a big man, although Dan Kelly is a nuggety, tough player. And Joe Marchant would be my man on the bench with Ollie Lawrence, maybe to play against Italy and to be around the squad. And that's how I would kind of think. Just giving the game away there. I was going to say, one contender, maybe not so much for the World Cup, but a longer-term project as an England 12, if you wanted a different kind of player, maybe a 13 as well, Tommy Freeman. I look at his attributes, and I think he could be a centre. And it would be very much like an Australian or a French thing to do. They have players that can float around in different positions. And, Ficou's played on the wing and in the centre for France. You've got loads of Australian players that have played centre and 10 or fullback. And Tommy Freeman just strikes me as that kind of skill set, those kind of attributes. So as a longer-term project, and maybe potentially looking for the World Cup, I honestly think Tommy Freeman in the centres could be dynamite. I think he's a big lad. He reads the game really well, good distribution skills. He can carry the ball. I think potentially he could be a 12. He could be an option at 12. So I just wanted to throw that one in as a little curveball to finish with. And that's what I've got to say. The England centre position is going to be interesting to see. I think most England fans are hoping that it won't be Owen Farrell in the 12 jersey. But the question is, can anyone step up and play at the required level in that shirt? We're going to find out very soon. They're my thoughts. What are yours?